Hello and welcome to the July 2025 Courage Challenge. I want to congratulate all of you for joining in and deciding that you're going to take some really bold action with courage for the second half of the year to go pursue the goal for you that's going to allow you to really step into your purpose and achieve the things that you want in life, whether that's significance, more contributions, deeper connections with the people you love, whether that's starting a new adventure, whether that is, uh, you know, taking yourself to the next level in your job or your position. You're in the right place. The intention behind this courage challenge and the history behind it, for those of you who don't know, is that my father's birthday actually is today. What would be today? He would be 90 if he was still with us. And he is the person that instilled in me the spirit of courage. You know how different people give you an essence of something, but my father had always instilled in me the essence of courage. And there has been many times in my life when things changed, or I had to step into something and do what I felt to be the right thing. And I always have to, I always had to call on those courage muscles, because it takes courage to cause a comeback and to turn a trial into a triumph, and for you to spiritually be able to grow and expand. And the thing that I've learned through the last 20 years is that when we really step into our purpose and recognize and remember what we're supposed to be doing now at this part of the journey, and who we're supposed to be here to serve, and what we're valuing and what's aligned with that, that we then, when we do step out into that uncertainty and grow and expand, that's when we start to really experience more and more abundance in different areas of your life, your abundance in your health and your wealth, in your relationships, etc. It all happens when we step into our purpose and we answer the call. But the thing is that to answer a call, you have to be in a state of calmness in your mind. And if you're in a stress situation, that can cause issues. And it takes courage sometimes to understand the voices that are going on in your brain and who's talking, so that you can recognize if you're really truly in clear and present danger, which 95% of the time you're not, and then realize why you need to do something that you're feeling called to do, and stepping out and doing it even when it feels uncomfortable. So what we're going to do for the next 25 days is you'll get a daily exercise to build your courage muscles every day. And you're also going to get a journal with where you can record gratitude for what you're learning about yourself through the exercises. And the other thing that you can do is, I want you to start a judgment journal. Now that may sound silly at first, but it's very eye-opening, because the judgment journal is something that's going to tell you a little bit about the stories or the fears that you may have. But most of the judgment stuff comes from fears. So if you did not get a chance to watch the LinkedIn event that I had yesterday, which was called Comebacks Are for the Courageous, I'm going to provide you that link. But I just want to summarize some of the things that we talked about as far as voices in your head, because the only thing that ever holds you back or makes you feel like you've lost your courage or that you don't have any is the voices in your head. And if you understand how your brain works and where those voices are coming from, you can learn to quiet them. So the first thing, I brought my animals out here. So the first thing I want you to talk about is that summarized from yesterday, is that there's 3 areas of your mind. So meet Lenny the lizard. So Lenny the lizard is the instinctive part of your mind, the protection system that you have, that God designed us with, when Adam and Eve first came, to keep them out of trouble, out of clear and present danger. But what happens in our instinctive mind is that sometimes, when we're born, we're only really getting two fears. One is fear of loud noises, and the other one's fear of falling. And then as we go through life, we pick up other fears from people around us, our environments, etc. And we tend to carry those fears. Now, Lenny the lizard, his language that he speaks to when he's in your head is the language of absolutes. Lenny the lizard is the voice that tells you, you can't do that. You're not good enough. If you fail, you're not going to be accepted or loved. That kind of voice. It's the judgment voice. And Lenny's trying to keep you safe. His intentions are originally good, but Lenny is more of a childhood. We've picked up a lot of fears from our childhood, and we keep carrying them into adulthood. We need to recognize what's true fear, clear and present danger, and what's not, and how to quiet Lenny. So the challenge this week that we're going to have is going to involve you catching in your journal when Lenny the lizard's talking to you, your instinctive mind. Now, the second part of your mind is you have a conscious mind, and the conscious mind are like two monkeys. So meet the monkeys. So you've got Logie logic, and this is how you talk to yourself. Now, your conscious mind speaks to you in questions. It's when you start asking yourself questions, and sometimes emotion, Emily, the emotional monkey wants to is the voice. This is how you make decisions and decide. Your conscious mind. God gave you a conscious mind. Now, there's two sides to the conscious mind, but the side of your right brain and your left brain talking, they do questions. So sometimes you'll do things like, I really feel like doing something, or not feel like doing something, and then the other part is the logic behind whether you make a decision to do something or not. Now, everyone needs an aim. So for this courage challenge, you've got to have a goal, because if you don't have an aim, you're going to drift instead of be driven. But that conscious mind, these monkeys, want to drive you somewhere. They're the ones that'll set the goal and make a decision, and they'll be, asking you questions either on the emotional, well, how's that going to make me feel if I do that? And then the other one will say, well, does that make sense? Logical? Is that rational? Do I need to be doing that? So your decision voices are in your conscious mind. You also have 6 mental faculties in your conscious mind, and we'll talk about those later as we go through the challenge. But just understand that if you hear a lot of questions in your mind, that's your conscious mind going back and forth. Now, these monkeys think they're in charge. They're not. Meet Ellie the elephant, okay? Your subconscious mind is very strong. It has strong muscles, and it works on a hypnotic rhythm. So this everything that you've developed in habits or beliefs lies in your subconscious mind. And sometimes the pull that you feel that holds you back is, and this Ellie, the elephant, speaks in stories. And so what happens is when you try to go do something and you think you don't have as much courage, or it really makes you feel uncomfortable, it's because it's a habit you're not used to doing. Your emotional mind, your subconscious mind, has a bunch of stories in it. So one of the things that you're going to start to realize through the Courage Challenge is the story is something that pulls you back and says something to you about the fact that you can't do that. You've never done that before. It's all your beliefs. So whatever your false beliefs are, you could have false beliefs like, I don't have enough time, money doesn't grow on trees. There's all kinds of different beliefs that you could have that hold you back from going and pursuing your goals, or having the courage to speak up in a relationship that needs more intimacy, etc. to it, and you're hiding in the shadows, and you're worrying about conflict, or that someone's going to get offended by what you're saying, and you're really fumbling around with your communication. When you have that kind of pull on you, it's usually due to some story that you believed and you accepted as true. And now it's in a hypnotic rhythm of the subconscious mind. And think of it as an elephant because it's very strong. So the monkeys try to pull you, you make a logical decision in your mind. You want to go do something, but then you get this pull from these stories that kind of haunt you sometimes and hold you back. So the reason I went through the, Lenny the lizard, the monkeys, and then the elephant is for you to understand when as you go take this courage challenge to take yourself and level up, to truly do a comeback instead of just cycling and staying and hitting the glass ceiling over and over again, you are going to hear these voices. If you can recognize them and you can learn how to calm the lizard and guide the elephant on a new pattern of the way you're deciding to be courageously. If you know how to talk, hear the voice and then respond to it, you'll allow your monkeys to take you towards your aim and towards your goal and get you where you want to go. So this week's assignment is to sit down with your goal. What is the goal that you really want to pursue in the second half of this year? And you've got to think about the fact that goals and aim is how you get you have a direction that you want to go in. Each year we have 12 months in the year. The second half of the year, what you're going to leave behind and do with your time and your legacy in 2025, you've got to make a decision that whether you're going to be driven or and really do something of significance for yourself, something that you really go after, something you want to accomplish, or whether you want to just sit where you are in comfort and safety, like a boat sitting in the dock, not going anywhere and just hanging out and thinking it's good enough or settling. But you're a comeback champion if you're here. And if you're a comeback champion, you know that a boat is not meant to sit in the harbor. It's built to sail. And God made you uniquely special, and he wants you to sail and take an aim forward. And your purpose is calling you. And so if you can get through this month, if you could start to understand how to hear these voices and get yourself in a calm state, when that intuition hits, that comes through the conscious mind, through your faculties, through your intuition and your imagination, when that stuff hits, you'll be able to hear it and you'll be able to recognize that, you know, in this particular decade, on this second half of the year, there's certain values that I have, and there's a purpose and a calling for me being here. And when I decide to go forth and encourage, even if it's uncertain, even if it makes me feel uncomfortable, and do that, that is the secret to the other side of your getting aligned to your prosperity and your abundance, because you're born to create and you're born with a purpose, and you were uniquely made to serve others, and you gain your fulfillment and your happiness when you are in a position where you're creating, where you're contributing, and when you're really deeply connecting with people. And all that stuff takes courage, because we have to let old stories go and put in new stories of how we really want to live, and let the lies stay behind and really unmask and reveal our authenticity to the world. And that takes courage. So this is why we're here. So this week's assignment is for you to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, what is my goal? What do I want to accomplish in terms of my self-care, my relationships, or in my profession for the second half of the year? You have to have an aim in the conscious mind. With the monkeys, you have to give them a goal on a direction to go, because otherwise they'll just get distracted, and you'll just keep cycling around in the same pattern that you've been in, because the elephant's not going to get guided. It's not going to develop any new habit patterns or cycles, and you'll just stay where you are because the elephant's running the show. So the first thing is the goal. What is it that you want to accomplish? What would make you feel really amazing and really help you achieve the significance or the adventure or the relationships and connections that you really care about for the second half of the year? Your professional goals, maybe you need to next level your performance. So what's that goal? Step number 1. Step 2 is then I want you to ask yourself, what stories in the elephant have been holding me back? Think about the beliefs or the stories that you've told yourself about what you can or cannot do, because they're just stories. Those stories will limit you if you don't take over and rewrite the beliefs in the stories. So ask yourself, what's the story that's been holding me back? Why have I settled into status quo? And why can't I move? Why haven't I been able to move? And write it out, because when you write it out, you'll see what you have to start listening for. And then the third thing is, I want you to ask yourself, what's the greatest fear that I have about pursuing this goal? And why am I letting Lenny the lizard hold me back? And what's that fear saying? And how do I take that message and flip the switch on and the polarity of the message so that it empowers me instead of holding me back? So if you haven't joined the Facebook group, I'm letting you know this month I am going to be checking into the Facebook group, but we're going to be away on a trip. So the only way that I'm going to be able to support you moving forward, today we had hot seat options for people if they wanted to come to the hot seat on the Zoom. But the way that I can support you best is having everyone on the Courage Challenge in the Facebook group, the links in the information you have. And if you have something that you're struggling with as you go through the exercises, now the exercises are actually fun. You're going to enjoy them. It's like going to the gym and working out. And each day it'll be a little baby step in a courage muscle that you can build and use to step into your courage and out into uncertainty and go after your aim and your goal for the rest of the year. We've got 180 days left. It's the second half. The worst regret that most people have when they realize that their life's about to come to end is the things that they didn't do. Don't be that person. Live full out and take the courage spirit that I'm going to share with you with different things that I've learned from my father through the month, and let that spirit of courage really carry you and lift you up to make the biggest comeback you've ever had. Totally unmasked, take the mask off, be unapologetically authentic, and step into your purpose and feel fulfillment like you've never felt before. So here we go. It's day one. Good luck. Look for the assignment in an email and the replay to this. And if you will also include a replay of what I went through on LinkedIn. There's a YouTube channel of it where you can listen to that to, again, get the distinctions in your head about why you've been cycling and what the difference is between the cycling and the comeback. And this week, I really want you to hear those three voices, understand when that talk in your head is coming from your conscious mind and your monkeys on what you really want and what you want to do and pursue, or whether the talk is coming from some story of the elephant, or whether the talk is coming from Lenny the lizard out of fears that are just not real. And when you hear judgment, write it down, because the way you're going to learn over the 25 days to quiet and calm that lizard is to recognize judgment. And tomorrow's first exercise is going to show you how to trade the judgment for discernment. So buckle in and get ready and get excited. We're in the July Courage Challenge, and big things are going to happen for you over the next 25 days. Congratulations. Thanks for being here.